Hey y'all, welcome back to Curls Pop Naturally. So glad that you're here. I am so excited to talk this week about silk presses and the importance of getting your trims. So I just have a couple of words of advice in this season just to talk about the importance of your trim schedule, the importance of protecting your hair when you do get silk presses, and just watching out for those split ends and just making sure that you are doing your best efforts when you do decide to get those silk presses so that you are preserving your hair for the long run. So a couple of things I wanted to talk about. There's a season for everything, even silk presses. As you know, a lot of women, they sweat through their hair follicles, through their head. So I know for me, whenever I do decide to get a silk press, I'm very intentional about doing that. First, I only get one silk press a year. I found that has been very helpful for me in my natural hair journey, just simply because I came from a past of a lot of heat damage from getting silk presses every 2 weeks. And then it made it hard for me to be able to still wear my hair natural and it still pops and it still looks really good and curly. So I made that change back in 2017, where I started to only get 1 to 2 silk presses a year, and it has literally been a game changer. So when you do go and get those silk presses, I would suggest getting those in the winter months, just simply because it's not already so humid outside. It's not already hot outside where you're susceptible to sweating and just literally walking down the street, and then there, boom, your silk press is done. Also, since I work out 3 to 5 times a week, I have to make sure that I'm probably not going to work out or plan to do any strenuous activity for at least 5 days, or it's not even worth my money, because literally once I go and work out, silk press is gone, baby, because I sweat through my head. Literally, when I even have my natural hair and I go and I work out, I sweat even through wash and go. So I know for me and my hair, and you will know your hair better than anybody. So I went to go get a silk press here in May, going into the summer, just simply because I really wanted one. And I knew that I would be out of town and I wouldn't be working out like I normally do. So I was like, you know what? Sure, I'll go ahead and get a silk press. And this is actually day 6 of my silk press. And as you see, I'm going to work out today. So this will be already puffy by 1 o'clock today. And that's fine, because I've gotten 6 full days out of it and I'm totally okay with it. That leads me into my next point. Do your research. Unless you have a trusted beautician, stylist that you trust, that is going to take care of your hair while you get that silk press, because there's nothing more damaging than a stylist that does not deep condition before giving you a silk press, that does not use a heat protectant, that does not also check to make sure that your hair is nice and trimmed so that the silk press does look good and healthy. And then also I've started to do some research because my stylist moved away and people are charging almost $100 for a silk press. So do your research. Look at pictures. Make sure that their silk press is actually silky. I mean, it's sad that we have to even go over this, but there are some stylists that don't take the necessary time for natural hair individuals, where it's not even silky or it'll last 2 days. So just do your research. If you do want to go and get a silk press, do your research. Make sure that the person that you're investing your money in, that you trust them and that they will do right by your hair. Also, when you go to get your trims, it's really telling what your hair looks like to your stylist once it's silked out or once it's blow dried. It shows the work that you've done in the off season, basically. So if you have split ends, if you have dead ends all over the place, your hair is really uneven, then that's telling. That shows that maybe you have lacked a little bit in the deep conditioning department, or you haven't had a trim in 6 months. It's going to show. So do the work in the off season so that when you do go for those silk presses, they look good. You're spending good money on it. So make sure that you're doing the work in the off season. So what does that look like? You want to make sure that you're deep conditioning your hair for 30 minutes at least every 2 weeks, point blank. You have to have that moisture in your hair. You have to have it conditioned so that it doesn't break off as easily. Also, low manipulation styles. You should probably not be doing your hair more than once a week. The more you do your hair, the more you touch your hair, the more you manipulate it, the more it's going to break off, period. So when you're thinking about styles on wash day, make sure it can last at least 7 days. And then during the week, don't touch it. Stop touching it. I have that bad. So when I went to go get my silk press this past week, you saw some dead ends, you saw some split ends, because I pick up my hair and I try to pick out the knots and things like that. Don't do that. It's so damaging to your hair, and it's not worth it in the long run. Just deep condition. I would say get your trims at least quarterly, at least, because you're holding on to that dead hair. It's not helping you. It's not holding on to something that is bringing you down, even in life, is not healthy for you. So it's okay to get those ends trimmed, because baby, it's going to come back, and it's going to come back even better. So don't be afraid to go ahead, get it trimmed, or if it's at a point where it needs to be completely cut, I'm telling you, it's going to grow back faster, stronger, and better. So don't be afraid to get your trims. Another thing, if you are dealing with split ends, Eden Body Works has a split end treatment that is stellar. I used it when I first started to really embrace my natural hair, and I knew that I was coming from heat damage, split ends, not getting my trims properly or periodically enough. So Eden Body Works, I will link it down below in the comments so that you all can go and get that if that is something that you struggle with. And then also, if you know that you work out all the time, I understand if you want to get a silk press for a special occasion or anything like that, girl, do it. But just know, I get a lot of questions about how do you preserve your silk press with working out. I have no answer. I have no answer. If you're working out right and you're getting in the time and you are working hard, I mean, you're going to sweat. You're going to sweat. It's inevitable. I'm about to slick this up in a ponytail, baby, and I'm about to teach a 45-minute class. And I already know that my silk press is done, and that's fine. So just be okay with knowing if you are going to work out, it's probably not going to last as long, and that's fine. No big deal. But biggest takeaways from this, quarterly trims, keep that deep conditioner handy, baby, because you need to deep condition at least twice a month, every 2 weeks minimum. And then just know that there's a season for silk presses if you want it to last a long time, because I have not put heat back on my hair since I got my silk press. I'm not about to go back to heat damage. I'm not doing the touch-ups in between. I'm not doing it. It's not healthy for your hair. To freshen up your hair every day after getting a silk press is not good, y'all. So wrap your hair at night, do some pin curls. It'll last. It will last. But tell me about your experiences. How often do you get your hair trimmed? How often do you do deep conditioning? I want to know so that we can help each other. So thank you so much for watching. I love getting silk presses, but you just got to be cognizant of some of the potential things that could result in getting silk presses frequently. But I mean, if that's your way, that's fine. Just take care of your hair. So leave me a comment, share this with somebody that needs it. You all go and have a fantastic week, and I'll see you next time on Curls Pop Naturally.